Did you know I almost closed down a big agency and took a job? I was frustrated, I was lost, and most of all, I was unhappy. So why was I about to close down a business making millions and give that all up to get a job? You see, I envisioned owning a business as the ultimate path to freedom, but it ended up the exact opposite. I was doing everything. Every little decision in the agency was going through me. My team was not making a single decision without me, and everything was falling on my shoulders. I was stressed out, and quite frankly, I was miserable. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 most important questions that I answered that allowed us to grow faster than everyone else while working less hours. I'm going to share with you the secret that led to us eventually selling our agency to a huge firm, and the first 2 keys that led an agency from scraping by to going over 8 figures. Hey, I'm Jason Swank, and this video is part of our Agency Mastery Attract series. Sign up below at agencymastery360.com/attract to get access to the 4-part masterclass for free, along with all the resources and tools described. You know, I see many agency owners skip what I'm about to walk you through, and the most important thing we make sure our members of the Agency Mastery do. It's really the foundation that your agency is actually built on. I never expected to become an agency owner, but it all started with Justin Timberlake. No, I don't know Justin, but one of my best friends looked just like him. So I decided to create a website for a fictional band called Envisioned. And to my surprise, the website went viral before that was even a thing, and people began asking me to design websites for them. You know, I was designing websites for real estate sites, to lawyer sites, to marinas. Before I knew it, I actually became an accidental agency owner. I knew how to do something cool, like designing a website, and then someone offered me money for it. Then I started getting more and more clients, which led me to working all the time. The very thing I thought would lead to freedom was imprisoning me. Does that sound familiar? It's easy to be overwhelmed by running an agency and forget to take time to plan for the future. You know, focusing on the daily grind will only take you so far, and you'll eventually plateau like we did. What I realized was my vision will dictate my success and the success for my entire team. Now meet Zach.
And frankly, we really struggled. We struggled a lot, more than I would like to admit. I got started in the agency world when I was like 14. I figured out how to build websites, people needed websites, and I sold them to people for like a couple $100. Felt like for a long period of time, like I just couldn't figure out what I needed to do, what changes I needed to make in order to see the business actually thrive in a way I knew it could. I didn't really see the growth in my business until I started working with Jason. And I attribute that a lot to him and his help and his willingness to commit to assisting me.
He even had to take on a loan from his parents to cover payroll for his 5 to 6 employees he had at the time. I asked him what he wanted. He said, I wanted to work on the stuff he loved doing. He wanted to be able to just think about growth of his clients and growth of his team and have the freedom to say no to the stuff he doesn't want to. An agency that really provided him predictability and freedom and wealth. You see, too many times we're reactionary to what's coming to us when we need to be proactive. But we can't be proactive if we don't know where we're actually going. You know, Zach Teams was really reliant on Zach, and his team was crippled in making decisions like my team was before I figured this out. And what I realized was my team wasn't making decisions because they didn't know the direction of the agency. And if they did make a decision, it was a decision that was best for them personally. But if I gave them a direction of the agency, they would have the ability to make the decision based on what's best for the agency. Picture you're a captain of a boat, and only you know where you're actually going, and your team has no idea. You start driving the boat, right? And after about 10 hours, you start to get tired. You tell them to drive the boat and wake you up if the boat changes course. But if you've ever been in a boat, you know what happens every couple seconds. So your team keeps coming to you to steer the boat in the right direction. And after a while, you get frustrated and finally just tell them the destination. Now you can get some sleep because they know the destination. This is the same thing of running an agency. Figure out where you're going and communicate that often. Not just once and check the box, but often. You have to consistently let your team know where you're going so they can make the right decision for the agency. This is the first of the 2 keys that allowed Zach to 20x his agency and come close to 8 figures and be extremely profitable. He decided on the destination. We developed a plan. We communicated that to the team. In the next video of the Attract series, we're going to show you the second piece to Zach's momentum success. But let's get back to the vision and the 5 questions. Remember the story I told you earlier about almost closing down the $1 million agency to get a job? Well, when I took the interview, they asked me 2 of the most powerful questions I've ever been asked. What do I want to do every day, and what do I want to avoid? So the first question I need you to ask yourself is, what do you want to do every day, and what do you want to avoid? I want you to take out a sheet of paper and put your fist on that paper and draw a circle around your fist. And then start thinking about all the things you never want to do ever again, and write them down outside of that circle. Then after about 30 minutes, I want you to start focusing on the stuff you love doing and write that inside the circle. This will give you clarity and help you formulate a plan that will begin to make you love the agency again. This was the beginning of my vision, and I realized that I didn't have to shut down the agency and get a job. I could create a vision and a plan that allowed me to do everything I loved and avoid the things I hated. So the second question you need to ask yourself is, what type of agency do you want to have? Do you want to have an agency that you can sell one day? How much would you sell it for? And then we need to work our way back and figure out how can we get there. Or do you want a lifestyle agency where your agency is built around your lifestyle and what you want? Do you want an incubator agency where you use your agency to build products and companies? Do you want to be the highest price or the high volume, low price? I remember David joining the agency Mastery. His pricing was so freaking low, I mean like $100 a month. But he wanted to create a factory of thousands and thousands of clients, and he did that. And a couple years later, he was able to sell for over 8 figures, and he travels the world with his family now.
Well, I hired you and as a consultant over the last couple years of the company, and it was just really, really helpful to have you and your experience in selling your agency in the background to be able to bounce things off of and ideas and like, hey, this is happening now, like kind of, or things with employees, or just that, your experience with the agency, selling your agency and being able to have your guidance in that was a big key, I think, those last couple of years. So I don't think I've ever really gotten a chance to thank you formally for that. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You need to decide on what type of agency you want, so it's easier for you and your team to make decisions along the way. The third question you need to ask yourself is, where do you want to be in revenue in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? I remember that after the first couple of years, the agency felt like I was hitting a glass ceiling. Like I said before, I was being reactive to the business coming to me. I really never thought about where we wanted to take the agency. When I started thinking about the certain numbers, which was over 8 figures, I was able to start formulating a plan. So if I wanted to do 10 million in the next 2 years and I was at 2 million, I needed to get 5 times the amount of clients. I knew getting 5 times the amount of clients would cripple the team. So that was not an option. The other option I was thinking about was 5xing the pricing. Well, this was more attainable, which led me to think, I have the wrong clients. If I want to make 10 million with my current team and structure, I need to start thinking about the fourth question that you need to ask yourself is, what type of clients, industry, engagements really excite you? I was taking on the wrong clients and I was saying yes to the wrong engagements. I remember one client in particular, he was a former PGA golf pro, I won't name. He came to us wanting to build the next big thing for golf. He wanted to do something that we'd never done before in an industry that we had no experience in. We started the engagement and quickly figured out that this client was going to be trouble. You ever feel that way? Demanding that I attend every meeting, unrealistic timelines, low budgets, and everything else you could actually imagine of why this client was not right for us. It was a disaster. We were missing deadlines for the client because we didn't have any experience in his industry. And even worse, we were taking tons of times away from other clients and putting us behind there too. It was really horrible and for the confidence and morale of our team. It made me question if we should be doing the agency. And this was the straw that broke the camel's back that made me think about shutting down the agency and getting a job. You ever feel this way before? Looking back now, I realized I could have avoided all this if I was clear on who we wanted to go after and what we wanted to do for them. Okay, so the last thing I need you to ask yourself is, what are the values that you're looking for in your team? In the beginning, I was just looking to hire workers to get the job done, right? The keyword, get the job done. We hired this one employee from this big agency in town. I thought if we hired the employees from the biggest agencies, we could become them. You ever think that? I quickly realized that he didn't share the same values that we had, especially be resourceful. At his big agency, they had so many people working and doing their job. It was like the movie Office Space, where they have that one person that takes the farm to another person, and so on and so on.
Looks like you've been missing a lot of work lately.
I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
I should have been focusing on hiring the right team members that believed in what our agency believed in. I wanted the team members to believe in sharing their wins and their lessons. I wanted them to learn something every day. I wanted them to be resourceful and love what they're actually doing. You know, looking back, if I measured our team members this way before I hired them, I could have avoided a lot of stress and problems. So I started on deciding, what do we believe in? What are our core values? And then we can actually measure future and current team members on our values. The answer to these 5 questions I just covered will become the foundation for unlocking your agency's potential. You need to get clarity on your ultimate destination. You need to define who you are and what you stand for so everyone can help grow your agency. We quickly began to move forward with certainty. So if you're feeling lost and unsure of why you do what you do, it's likely a means of a lack of clarity. Without it, your team and your clients are going to suffer. If your employees often come to you for direction or are scared to make a decision without you, it's a sign they don't understand the goals and the objectives of the company. So why haven't you done your vision yet? Tell me the roadblocks below. I get it. This is the last thing you want to focus on right now, right? Boring old vision. You told me this video would attract my perfect clients. And this video really will help you attract your perfect clients. But you need to clearly define who your perfect clients are, which you can't do until you define who you are and where you're actually headed. So here's what you need to do now. Go to agencymastery360.com/attract so you can get clarity and feel the confidence and decisions so you can scale your agency in the right way. Also, click here to watch the next videos in the series so you can eliminate your competition for good and build a huge waiting list of your perfect clients. It was also a way that David created an 8-figure exit in the next 2 years of working with us. Until next time, have a swank day.